Hey everybody, Gina Kirby here with Progressive Parenting Radio, and I'm here at the APA conference still with my son Jack and Karen Strange. I'm so excited to be here with you. How's the APA conference been so far?
Good.
Amazing,
Fabulous.
right?
Fabulous.
Well, we were talking the other day about skin-to-skin contact and what that means and how important it is and what it really is and what it isn't. So, because I know I said, let's talk about like the most important thing. How do you nail down the most important thing? But the one thing that you did say that you wanted to talk about was skin-to-skin contact. So,
Right. Well, there's always I'm going to hold this little stick here and see if I can make this happen. A selfie stick, which is a little outside my comfort zone.
Here, I got it now.
Okay. So, well, there's always the ideal, and I talk about the ideal, and I love the ideal, and to really know what the ideal is and what is embedded in the sequence of birth and what is embedded in birth. It's really important to know that. And then, depending on where birth happens and what happens, you go for whatever you can achieve. And really, yes, it would be really critical for the baby to get all of its blood volume, because that allows all of the organs to work. It allows all the centers of the brain to get oxygenated. The ideal if they didn't get suctioned, yes, that they need a moment of pause,
Hey.
that they don't really need a whole lot at birth, but if all you can do, the thing to fight for, is skin to skin. Always skin to skin. Skin to skin heals the baby. Because what happens when the baby has gone through the birth process, which is a big experience, even when it's perfect, even if everything is optimal, it's still a very big experience. And so once the baby comes out, they need to go to the only place they know. And the only place they know is the mother's chest. So babies not in their place or habitat experience extreme terror. So the goal is to help the baby feel safe. And the place that the baby feels safe is here. Their cortisol levels drop. They are reunited in the outer womb. They've been 9 months in utero, now they're on the outside, re-meeting, reconnecting. It allows them to settle. It turns on the critical sensory needs of the brain, which are necessary for brain development. This is where that happens. So if there was one thing to fight for, that would be it.
But
Skin to skin.
Is skin to skin, where they take the baby and they wrap him up in a little burrito and they put a hat on him, is that skin to skin?
That is not skin to skin means skin to skin. So no hats, no towels. Well, you could put a hat on. You could put a towel over mother and baby for sure. It would be ideal if it didn't have a diaper, but if it has a diaper, that's fine. Skin to skin, right here. No burritos. No burritos.
Okay, and
for sure, no burritos.
What's the deal with the hat? Why is that a big deal?
So,
it's just a hat.
Certainly you can put a hat on later, but in the beginning, how mothers meet their babies is by sight, smell, sound, taste, and touch. When you put a hat on and you cover them with a towel right the moment after birth, what happens is you create a barrier, a boundary for how mothers actually connect. And all of those senses are there for a reason. The senses are meant for the optimal survival of our species. So when you interfere with the optimal survival of our species, it impacts us maybe in ways that we're not totally aware of, but it really has to do with how we attach and care for our young. So ideally it would be great, again, if you could allow the baby and the mother to see each other, connect with each other, whether it's here, whether it's there, it doesn't really matter where, but let them meet exactly as they came out.
Yes, no, please, and
then you can cover the baby, then you can put a hat on. But how we connect is by sight and smell and touch, which I already said. There's a doula in New York. She said after she sort of learned about this, what was interesting is she went to the next birth, beautiful home birth, and the midwife put the baby on the mom's chest and she put a hat on and she covered the baby, and she said she noticed that after like a minute or two, when the mother was really like realized she had made it and it was over, she goes to look at her baby and all she sees is cloth. She doesn't really even get to see her baby because we've covered up the baby. So I'm really a firm believer in birth was set up to work in case no one was there, and if nobody was there, the next question is, what would happen if
no one was there?
Because if no one was there, probably birth was set up to work for the baby to get cool for just a moment while the mom recovered from the effort of pushing the baby out. And then she would pick up her baby or claim her baby, hold her baby a little closer. And then she has that skin-to-skin contact, which keeps the baby warm. So all of that is very nice, but the most important aspect of that, the takeaway, is skin-to-skin, which they're trying to do everywhere.
Right.
And baby-friendly hospitals.
Thank goodness, right?
Thank goodness.
So someone asked me a question that was like, well, first of all, it's like, so what about that and all this stuff? And then, the question was, well, it's not like she's going to love her baby any less. And I kind of took that as like, well, that was kind of a defensive maybe question. Like maybe she didn't get that with her baby. I certainly didn't with my first in the hospital. I got my little burrito. And so that could make you feel guilty maybe. And the whole point of talking about this stuff isn't to make somebody feel guilty.
Right, I was just going to say, this is a high guilt topic.
Right.
This is a high guilt area, talking about the baby and the needs of the baby and what is supposed to happen and what is meant to happen. So, so one of the things that I always really say is it's really important to know that you can always heal that. That there is a place that is part of the normal natural sequence of birth, if we can allow it to happen, that has repair in it when things don't go as planned, because you can't prepare for birth.
Because not every birth's going to be ideal.
Well, very few births are ideal because you don't really know who's going to have who's going to have a premature labor, a long pushing stage, a precipitous or fast labor, a hemorrhage, a resuscitation, a dystocia, the 8 million things that can happen in the hospital. I mean, life happens, and so things happen, and you can hedge the odds in your favor, but you can't totally change them. So when things happen, what's really important to know is whenever they go back together, mother and baby, that is where the healing begins. And it can occur after birth, it can occur an hour later, it can occur a few hours later, it can occur a few days later. Premature babies are in the hospital. It can occur when they come out of the hospital, but what has to happen is turning on the critical sensory needs of the brain, which lowers those cortisol levels, and the baby goes here, whenever. And when the baby goes here, they will eventually feel safe, and they will feel like, I made it, it's over, I'm safe now. And that is a felt sense experience. It's an experience that you feel in your tissues and in your fluids and in your joints, this experience of safety. And so when the baby feels that, then they're no longer in protection. So what will also happen after a while is the baby is going to begin to tell you the story of what just happened to them. And what just happened to them was probably a pretty big event. Even if nothing big happened, birth is still a really big event. And babies are going to start to tell you their experience. And our job is to listen. And when you listen, when you reflect back that your baby is saying something, you're actually saying to the baby, or to your friend when you hear them tell the story, is, I hear you, I see you, and what you say matters to me. And our job is, can we hang out and listen? Can we hear what the baby has to say? And then babies are going to tell you what happened. And then they're also going to, once they get it, that you get it, they no longer need to keep telling you the story. That's what repetitive behavior is about. And babies are going to actually start to do their motor activity to head to the breast, because that is the natural place that babies tell the story of what just happened to them. So repair can happen anytime, and this self-attachment sequence of going to the breast where babies tell you what's going on, weeks, months. I mean, it's actually in all of us. All of us still have this journey to the breast, but it's the natural place where babies tell the story of what happened to them. It's a natural place of repair as part of the birth sequence, which we often think is elective, and it's not elective. And they may have to do it over and over and over. Just like you have a big event, you tell the person, you tell many people what happened. It's a way to heal, and key to storytelling is slower pacing. That's one of the key proponents of how to, tell a story healingly, is slowly. I hope that kind of gives some insight.
I think it really does. Thank you,
Okay,
Karen.
thank
Thank you for
you.
all the work
Thank
that you
you,
do.
Gina.
I hope you guys got as much of that out of that as I did. Well, I'll talk to you again next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more coverage from the Apple Congress here. On the Road with Gina and Jack is a product of GinaKirby.com. Be sure to follow us on YouTube. All you have to do is search for Gina Kirby.